Hey, what's up, guys? So with Scream 6 coming out, I figured I would do like a movie review, but also a ranking of all of the movies overall, 1 through 6. So I figured this would be kind of the best of both worlds. That way I'm not just putting a review out, and I could talk about Scream, because I just enjoy these movies. Most of them. Either way, we'll get into the ranking, and then I'll kind of go, I guess not in depth, but a little bit over each movie and why I ranked them where I did. This probably will have spoilers. I can't lie, I probably will have spoilers for the 6th movie, so I'll probably try and hold those off until after the list. So if you want spoilers and my thoughts for Scream 6, I'll throw them at the end of this video, so that way you can watch the entire ranking and then get my thoughts. But either way, let's jump into ranking Scream 1 through 6. Alright, so coming in number 6 is going to be Scream 3. I enjoyed this movie, but it's not, I don't know, it's not my cup of tea. I really didn't enjoy the whole, like, Sidney Prescott, dead mom, haunting kind of thing. And the killer himself just really, I don't know, it just seemed annoying to me. You know, it was the guy that's doing the movies, directing, I don't know. It just seemed like this movie really bit off more than it could chew, especially since the first two were so successful. This movie came out in 2000, and it just, I don't know, it seemed like it slowed the franchise down, which makes sense because the next movie really didn't come out until 11 years later. So, it's not bad. These movies, all 6 movies for the most part, are not terrible. They have flaws, but they are enjoyable overall. Alright, these next two are kind of interchangeable. There's one that I enjoyed a little bit more than the other, just because the ending really threw me off. But at number 5, we're going to go with Scream 6, the brand new one from 2023. So, maybe that might rub some people the wrong way. I know this movie, it really is, almost seems like you love it or you hate it kind of thing. And again, we'll get to, after my list, a little bit more in depth and some of my gripes and my thoughts about Scream 6. But overall, I enjoyed maybe 80% of this movie. The last 20% is really where it kind of threw me off. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. I didn't really like how they did it. I really thought the trailers were going to take it in a different way. I mean, we're in a bigger city. We're not in Woodsboro anymore. It just seemed like the trailers were taking it a different way, especially the beginning. The beginning, it's what Scream is, but it's a new take on how you do your beginning or your intro of this movie. It's not your stereotypical, hey, what's your favorite scary movie, calling to somebody. So, again, we'll get into that, but either way, I'm going to put Scream 6 at number 5, and at 4, we're going to put Scream 5. So, I enjoyed Scream 5 a little bit more. I will say this again, that 80%, absolutely loved Scream 6. But Scream 5, I think, overall, it kind of ran a little more smooth. And then on top of that, the killers and the motives made a little bit more sense to me. It wasn't just like this cliche, oh, we got to get back at these people because of this kind of thing. It seemed like the movies and the internet really kind of molded these killers into actual killers and crazy people because they kept seeing information, and that kind of drove them over the edge. Again, this movie did have flaws. It does have Dead Meat James and Chelsea in it.
Don't get me started on Ghostface's signature new weapon.
That shit is lit.
And can we talk about the title, Stab? What, just like the original? Just call it Stab 8.
So there's a quick cameo. So I can't be mad at that. I mean, they're friends with the directors, so of course they're going to get in there. But either way, I think that movie overall seemed more like a stereotypical Scream movie, and maybe that's, you know, what you like in Scream movies. Maybe you wanted them to change it up, and maybe you're not a huge fan of Scream movies, so you're okay with them changing the formula. But either way, I think Scream 5 overall kind of ran a little bit smoother. Alright, coming at number 3 is going to be Scream 4. I really enjoyed this for what it was. Again, like I said, it came out 11 years after the third one. It seemed like this was almost a reboot to the franchise, but this was a more modernized, like, you know, you had cameras, you had vlogging. This, you know, brought in a new cast of characters, Hayden Panettiere, I think Macaulay Culkin's brother, I forget his first name. Sorry, I'm sure he's never going to ever watch this, but either way. And then you, of course, get the old cast in there as well. So you get fresh faces, but then you get the legacy characters as well. I thought it was a good way to kind of mesh it. And again, the story and the plot and the reasoning for the killers kind of made more sense to me. And I just enjoyed that movie overall. Again, like I said, most of these movies do have flaws, but some of them are a lot smaller and minor. But I do really enjoy part 4, and that's why it's at 3 on my list. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Scream 2. So, of course, I just like the way this played out. It's really good. The beginning is awesome, where you get Jada Pinkett Smith killed in front of everybody, and everybody's thinking, oh, it's just a joke, they're playing around. And then she gets up on the screen and starts screaming because she's literally just dying in front of everybody. And it just became extremely real. You know, you get everybody going off to college, and Sidney Prescott's going off to college. You get Jerry O'Connell, Timothy Olyphant. So you get a nice cast on top of that. I actually think Buffy the Vampire Slayer's in this as well. I believe she's part of a sorority. So you get a lot of good actors on top of the old legacy characters that you're bringing from the first part. And then I feel like this really is one of the strongest reveals of the killer. You know, you thought she was just a reporter. She thought, you know, she just wanted to be Gale Weather. That's why she's asking all these questions and information, stuff like that. But she ended up being Billy Loomis's mom, which, I mean, it makes sense. Again, you know, sometimes that's not executed as well, but I feel like this made sense. And then you have Timothy Olyphant's character, I think it was Mickey. You have her basically recruiting him and helping him because he's, you know, that kind of serial killer-ish, like crazy guy that loves movies. So of course everybody has to love movies. This did have a really sad death as well when Randy gets killed. Especially too, it's crazy that it happens in just broad daylight. He gets pulled into a truck and then boom, he's dead. So I think this movie flowed really well overall. I think the killer or killers and the reveal was handled really well. I just think overall, I think this movie is great, especially coming right after Scream 1. And then of course, we're going to have Scream 1 at 1. This movie, it's a trendsetter. It did something new. It kind of revamped the horror genre, and it didn't just give you slashers, just give you slashers. It was very in-depth. It gave you a lot more than just people killing people because they wanted to. I think it gave you a great opening scene with Drew Barrymore, where, you know, what's your favorite scary movie? He seemed really menacing. Of course, Roger Jackson doing the voice of Ghostface. He's really menacing. He really gets on you about it. He really kind of messes with your head while he's talking to you on the phone. And then again, you don't know if he's in the house, if he's not in the house, you know, where he's at. So this movie overall, I think, did a great job at kind of making the horror genre feel fresh and new. It came out in 1996, which definitely seemed like it pushed, you know, that new age, early 2000s movies, horror movies, kind of to a different level. Written by Kevin Williamson. So I think it had a lot going for it. Of course, Wes Craven. I mean, it's Wes Craven. I absolutely love what he has done with his career. And I mean, him and Kevin Williamson writing, I mean, just what can go wrong with this movie? Not much, if anything. The killers, Billy Loomis and Stu Macher, sorry, spoilers, but, you know, their motives, it's an overall just great movie. It's a great slasher, but it's got a lot more going for it. It's not just your stereotypical slasher. Either way, that's my list. Before I get into my kind of thoughts and opinions on Scream 6, if you could, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave comments down in the section below. What do you think? How would you rank these movies? Did you like Scream 6? Who knows? You're going to listen to what I'm about to say. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. Just let me know. But either way, Scream 6, like I said, I think 80% of this movie I really enjoyed. It's really fast-paced. It's got good timing to this movie. There's not really any downtime whatsoever. Ghostface is extremely menacing. He's really strong. But that's what you want. I mean, you gotta, like they say in the movie, you gotta keep making these fresher and more scary, more violent, up the body count. It just seems like that's just what you have to do. It's kind of the stereotypical horror genre with sequels. With that being said, I enjoyed the first like 80% of this movie. The ending fell flat. Again, spoilers, so I'll put the little thing up here, but I'm gonna get into spoilers a little bit. The trailers really made it seem like it was going to be almost like a cult of Scream fans or Stab fans. So again, with the killers from the last two movies, they were, on the internet, they were talking about the movies, they were angry with what the movies were doing. I thought that was a good premise to jump off on and almost have it like, these two people died doing what they talked about on the internet. So then, of course, that kind of triggered something, and maybe, a group of like 6 or 9 or whatever, how many people you want, then that triggered them to be like, okay, well, they got killed because, of their love and blah, blah, and maybe they're all kind of in almost a cult-like fashion. So then you have a group of Ghostface people coming after the main characters. And I thought that was a cool premise. It would have been something completely different than, what we got and what we have gotten from the other movies. But it didn't go that way, unfortunately. Either way, I will say the ending really... I wasn't a fan of just, oh, hey, I'm so-and-so's dad. These are his siblings. We're all crazy serial killers. You killed our friend, or you killed our son and brother, so we're going to kill you. I get it, but they did it in Scream 2. It played out a lot better in Scream 2. It made more sense because, he's a high school kid and all of that. But I don't know. And especially to the cop, the dad, really hammed it up for me. And, some might like that. Some might not. I thought this was a more serious Scream movie. There was some comedy here and there. But I thought more or less this was a darker toned Scream movie. So to put him just be really hamming it up and getting loud and crazy at the end, I don't know, it just seems like it threw me off. And then on top of that, I feel like this movie was just afraid to kill characters. Again, spoilers, I feel like I can't say that enough, but if you're still watching, you've probably already seen the movie or you just don't care. But either way, the sister who got stabbed in the subway, she got stabbed in the back, she got stabbed in the stomach a couple times. Like, it was pretty gruesome. And then basically the ending scene, she's, you see her sprinting and, oh, I know who the killer is. It's so-and-so and so-and-so. Oh, you guys figured it out? Okay, I'll just sprint over here to the ambulance where my brother's at. So, I don't know, it just seemed weird where she probably should have died. But because this movie didn't seem like it wanted to kill off some of the main characters because they liked the chemistry between the 4, they didn't want to do it. Because I feel like she probably should have died. Gail Weathers, again, we have a slight heartbeat. She's probably alive, but I feel like she probably should have died, which would just make sense. And then on top of that, the brother, who they literally held like this and repeatedly stabbed in the chest and the stomach. Like, this dude got stabbed like 8, 9, 10 times. And everybody's like, no, he died. Dang it. That sucks. And then literally a second later, they're like, oh, we got a survivor. And then boom, he just pops out, has time to kiss the main lead and, joke around a little bit. And I don't know. It just seemed like this movie fell flat in the last like 20 to 30 minutes with how it portrayed its characters. And especially one of the Ghostface killers gets like stabbed in the mouth all the way down to the throat. So you think he's dead. And then of course, you have to shoot him in the head. So that's the whole thing. But he just gets up, starts screaming, and like, bro, you just got stabbed in the head. How are you you're just not dead? I don't get it. How are you not dead? Plus, I feel like they just did Kirby wrong in this movie. I feel like she definitely should have had a bigger part, but I get why they did it, and I feel like, they brought her back for a certain reason. But, I don't know. I feel like she was kind of a wasted potential. Either way, again, what did you guys think? Let me know. Did you guys think something completely different than I thought? I thought it was a cool kind of setup to maybe have a Ghostface cult kind of, but, it didn't happen. Either way, we're going to be looking forward to Scream 7, where I think when she dropped the mask, I think we're going to see Stu Macher or somebody, maybe we won't reveal it's Stu Macher, but Stu Macher pick the mask up and go, oh, okay, Billy Loomis's kid. And then I think I guess at least it'd be cool with me to see him kind of almost try and bend her into just a serial killer. And then that's going to be Scream 7 is Stu Macher really mentoring her on how to become a killer, and she's gonna be the main villain. And again, that would kind of flip Scream to where it's never gone before, because you don't know who the killer is. So it'd be cool, or maybe, you know, they'll play whodunit and then she ends up being the killer. But either way, I feel like that'd be something different, something cool that Scream really hasn't dove into. So either way, I'm done rambling. We will see you guys in another video.